All right, everybody, welcome back to Movie Talks and Chill. We're your hosts. I'm Tony Serrato.
I'm Kevin Butts.
I'm Patrick Wall.
And before we get into this episode, for those people in Florida and
Carolina,
Georgia, and all that area, so we did have that lovely, nasty storm that came through.
Hurricane Helene.
Yep,
That
Hurricane
bitch.
Helene. Very wide. I think they said up to 1,000 miles for the full circumference of it.
That name would imply that she was very wide.
Helene. And,
Apologies to anybody actually named Helene out there.
So, unfortunately, a lot of people in the area around here, because of the storm surges, got hit pretty hard and lost their vehicles from flood damaging, a lot of damage to their homes. So, just want to say we are very sorry to hear that. We hope everyone's well and getting along just fine, and hopefully your power's back on.
Yes. And please keep an eye out on Facebook. Not something you want to hear in an emergency, but there are a lot of updates in the city of St. Pete and Tampa about mobile shower and laundry stations in case you are needing those necessities.
Yes.
And I know there's one right around the corner from here, actually.
Yes, and we are glad that Patrick finally took a shower.
Yeah.
Yes.
After 3 days.
Thank the heavens.
Because of the storm surge and shutting off the sewer plant, I wasn't allowed to shower until yesterday
We were just going to
morning.
put his microphone outside.
We were just going to do a Zoom with them. Yeah. You zoom in, and then we'll talk from there. No, you can stay over there. Seriously.
No, you can
Please.
stay there.
I insist. Please.
Yeah, everyone in this room insists that I go away.
I mean, I can't talk. I got about 5 days growing in here. So
Yeah, you do.
it's pretty.
I shaved this morning, thankfully.
Grizzly Adams did have a
Yeah,
beard.
he did have a beard.
But yeah, I just want to say, and also very sorry because I think the death toll is still being counted right now.
Last I heard, it was up to 9.
well, more than that, with the Carolinas included, it was up to like over 50.
Yeah.
I was talking about just for Pinellas County.
Yeah. And then,
I know
so,
there's 3 or 4 in Treasure Island, 3 or 4 in Indian Rocks, 1 in Dunedin, and 1 in Hillsborough, I believe. It was a bad time for all.
Yep. So, you know,
This is like you were telling me. This was like the worst storm surge they've seen in 50 years.
storm surge in Florida, in the Tampa Bay area, the worst storm surge in 70 years.
Yeah. R.I.P. my Mustang.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it. It's not down for the count yet, but it's hanging on by a thread if it's still alive.
But unfortunately, so we just wanted to say, you know, we're very sorry to hear anybody who's had any losses or any loss of any major damage or property damage. I hope you get back up and running soon. Like Patrick said, just keep an eye out for that because this storm was massive and did a lot of things.
Also, it has been declared a disaster, so if your insurance isn't picking up a tab, you can apply through FEMA for assistance.
Yes. Speaking of things that do a lot, let's talk about what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I'm going to let you kick this off. 'Cause I understand the premise, but I want to hear you detail it out here.
Okay. Let me get my notes out.
Oh, yeah, you took notes.
Yeah. Well, we talked about last time we were discussing, we brought up J.J. Abrams, and we said, you know, I can't remember how it came about, but
We
were
found
bringing
him in
about-
like a random movie.
and then like it's like, oh, his progression. So we said we were going to try to reverse engineer him to kind of go backwards. So we're going to set the time circuits.
And my thing is, I couldn't find where he used his first lens flare, but I just know that I hate him so much for doing it.
I love it.
Like, damn it, get your Star Trek lens flare out of my Star Wars movies.
Well, okay, hold on. So when was the first Star Trek that he did?
I think it was like 09, wasn't
Yep,
it?
Yeah.
2009.
Yeah.
And
And then The Force Awakens.
Which I will say real quick, I am going to comment on that though, because even though I'm not a fan, or I just don't like reboots, remakes, we all know that. I think I've said that a million times in the past 3.5 years.
Yes.
But this revision of Star Trek, I will say I think he did a very good job on it.
Yes.
I did enjoy how they did it. They kind of kept slightly true to the original Enterprise ship, but modernizing it to like today's date. So they did a really nice little spin on that. The characters, I mean, Chris Pine, I thought reflected William Shatner's old Kirk from the original series very well.
Yeah.
And then
because I didn't like William Shatner as much in the movies. The TV series, I really liked it.
yeah.
But I didn't. I think he got too much Shatner. You never go full Shatner.
Yeah. I think by that point he was already doing like T.J. Hooker and stuff, so
Yep.
he was kind of switching off and then kind of going back. But also too, when he first started in that, he was obviously very young, and I think he just his acting progressed because he was doing a lot of stage work, and then he did the T.J. Hooker show, so he was doing a lot of different, and then kind of going back to that. But I will say in the newer ones, the ones starting 2009, the one person I thought that got it the closest to the original character.
Zachary Quinto.
No, actually, they all did very well. Like they were all very close. Simon Pegg was very good, as the Scotty character. But
The Uhura actress.
no, the one that played Bones, the doctor.
Oh,
Dr.
Carl
McCoy.
Urban.
I think he nailed that. They were all very close to the original characters, but I think he hit that so closely with the accent, the attitude, everything. I think he just like
The constant metaphors.
yeah.
Being drunk on the shuttle to the academy.
Are you out of your Vulcan mind?
And they actually explained. You finally got an explanation as to why his nickname was Bones.
Yeah.
He's an old Sawbones.
No.
No, because he was talking to Kirk on the shuttle pod to go to actual ship.
It's a quick 2-minute conversation.
Yeah, they're in, they're in
remember
those.
he's really sick, and he's like, I may throw up on you. Yeah.
Yeah, but he said, I have no place else to go. The wife stripped me down to my bones.
Yeah, left me nothing but my bones.
Yeah.
She took the planet in the divorce. I remember that. Yeah. Well, that's the first one when he's in his civvies drinking out of the flask.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what. Yeah, that's the moment. So they actually, because they never ever gave an explanation as far as I remember.
Well, he was a saw. That's an old term for a doctor, a sawbones. I always just assumed that was what it was.
But they never said it. They never made any kind of reference.
yeah, they never
in
went
the
around
shows and
saying,
the
"Oh, you
movies.
old sawbones" or something like that.
You old bag of bones.
Yes.
All right, real quick, I do think I found the first iteration of his lens flare
Okay.
addiction.
Okay.
He
Tell
didn't
us.
direct it, but he did produce, and it was created by J.J. Abrams. There's a show called Fringe that I've mentioned many times that I love, and I do remember his classic lens flare motif scattered everywhere. This came out in 2008, before the Star Trek movie. So This is the first instance that I could think that I definitely remember that had his staple blinding light.
Yeah, because I don't remember it in Cloverfield, which he
No.
also did that year. And then, Star Trek. Oh my God.
It was everywhere.
So what you're saying is you really like that.
I
lens
really
flare.
like getting blinded when I go to the movie. Thank you, JJ.
Thank you,
Your work
JJ.
is great, but I can't see it anymore.
I can't see you, JJ. But
Right,
yeah,
so
no,
we
he
can-
has a lot of producer credits. And
Yeah,
exec
so-
producer
Ton of
credits.
producer
So when I was
Yeah.
doing the research on this, he had 67 producer credits. I kind of omitted those. I was
Okay.
only focusing on his acting, directing, and writing credits.
Okay. So let's reverse this. Can you start naming them off from newest to oldest so we can reverse this?
Okay, so we have, I think 2019 is the latest for all writing, acting, and directing. So acting 2023. He was in a movie or a show called Bupkis. He was in one episode, but he played himself, J.J. Abrams.
Okay.
And then he was on an episode of Simpsons in 2021. He played,
Everybody's been on The Simpsons.
and once again, he played himself. He was J.J. Abrams.
Played himself.
And then in 2019, in 2019, the writing, directing, and acting all line up with the same movie, which is The Rise of Skywalker. He directed.
take a breath.
He helped write. He directed, and he was one of the droids. He was D8 or something like that. So we're up to 2019 right now.
What do we got before 2019?
Let's see here. So for writing credit, we have The Force Awakens in 2015.
Let's just skip all the Star Wars.
Yeah, we don't talk about those.
Okay, fine. But in 2019,
Those aren't canon.
he was one of the aliens on the TV monitor in Men in Black International with Thor, Chris Hemsworth.
Okay. That was the remake one.
Yeah.
It
was the
that's-
reboot.
Reboot.
Soft
not remake.
reboot.
Yeah.
Because the America stuff is still canon. This stuff just happened in London, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
I never saw it because that third one left a real bad taste in my mouth.
Write it in.
And then in 2017, he was in the Disaster Artist actually, once again, as himself. A lot of his acting credits are, J.J. Abrams.
Hey, it's me, J.J. Abrams.
As me, J.J. Abrams.
I want to be in your stuff, but I don't want to have to learn any lines. So I'm
Yeah.
just going to play myself.
Can I just be there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
by the way, I cannot wait until we get to his first directorial thing. It is bonkers, and I've been trying to track down this video for the past week. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
We will get there.
We will get there.
We
We'll get
will.
there.
DreamWorks has his films locked up in its vault, and I might have to break in. Who wants to go to LA?
I mean, I haven't been there, so
You're not missing much.
You really are
I
not.
figured.
In 2017,
Can we make a stop in Vegas first?
Except for Santa Monica. That's a nice beach.
Okay.
Yeah, the pier I heard is really nice. Never been
It's
there.
in almost every shot of a lot of movies. Anytime you see that particular pier with the Ferris wheel
Ferris
and
wheel?
stuff, and
Yeah.
that's
Well, there's a show
that's Santa
called
Monica
Sight
Pier.
that takes place in Santa Monica, and all the B-roll is just a helicopter loop of that pier.
Yeah.
And then they use that to go film in Vancouver, I believe. And in I'm going to let someone else take the reins after this, but in 2017, he directed a short for Jimmy Kimmel called The Terrific 10.
It's a terrific 10, huh?
Yeah, this looks like a Jimmy Kimmel live skit with like, what's that William H. superhero movie with Ben Stiller?
Oh, you're talking about Mystery Men?
Yeah. So it looks like a low budget version of the Mystery Men.
I like so
A low budget version of Mystery Men.
That's
saying something.
yes, it is.
so producing.
Oh, so
What do
you're
I
gonna
have?
take all the producers?
Well, no, I'm just looking at here like, what's it like the last 4 Mission Impossibles?
Oh, did he just produce those?
I'm starting to believe that these missions aren't actually possible.
Well, in 2011, he did Super 8.
Yeah, that one I really like. That was like a
director, writing. What are we talking?
director and co-produced
Okay.
with
Well, this one,
Steven Spielberg.
and wrote. He wrote Super
And he
8.
wrote that one. Okay.
Yeah, it was written by. Well, I mean, obviously, did you mention Lost already? I think you did.
No, not yet.
Okay, so he had
Well, there was
created
one-
Lost.
Yeah, but there are two one thing we haven't mentioned from 2017. He was an actor in a show called Nightcap, and toured a pharmacy. Oh, that must have been a documentary about the hell's his name?
Well, let's go back to like this. This is what I'm reading is like his first is senior year of college. He and Jill Mazursky teamed up and they wrote a feature film which became Taking Care of Business.
Okay.
So I don't know if they have any. I remember the movie. Let me see if
Taking care of business.
every day.
In
Yeah,
2009.
he just has a writer's credit on there.
Okay. In 2009, he was an actor in something called The Lonely Island featuring Will Ferrell, J.J. Abrams, Cool Guys Don't Look at Explosions. You know who's number 4 top billed cast in this little video? Andy Samberg. The leader of Lonely Island is number 4 in his own video. Before him is Will Ferrell, J.J. Abrams, and then the entire Lonely Island.
Well, as I'm going through this, it's showing that his earlier stuff that he did, he was written under Jeffrey Abrams. He didn't go by JJ at that point because he did Taking Care of Business. He wrote Regarding Henry.
Regarding Henry.
Forever Young. If you remember that one with Mel Gibson, that one was a good movie.
Sounds
I
familiar.
don't know about the other one, Gone Fishing.
You don't remember that? That had what's his name? Danny Glover and Joe Pesci. I believe it was.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it was a goofy movie. It was like it's kind of like watching the Joe Pesci version of Leo Getz,
Leo Getz, yeah.
but with Danny Glover doing that same type of goofiness.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, they were like best friends, and I can't remember what the whole premise. Obviously, going fishing was a main plot point in there.
It was him and Jill Mazursky again.
So we're up to Lost in 2008, right?
No, we went. He started going back.
Yeah, I started going back. I was just looking at like his.
I didn't even know they made a sequel to Joyride.
I didn't know he wrote Armageddon
Yeah?
or Joyride.
Yeah, I was looking and I was like, why do I have all the same poster? He wrote Joyride and then he wrote the 4 alternate endings to Joyride. He was also a writer for Alias and also created by him.
I didn't know he wrote Mission Impossible 3. Unless you said that already, I apologize.
Well,
if you did.
I know he's got producers credits across several of them. I
But
think.
yeah,
4
I'm seeing a writing credit for Mission Impossible 3.
for
Yeah.
Mission- okay.
Which is for the record, my favorite Mission Impossible. And I do love the third one. That's the one with Katie Holmes, I believe. His wife, whoever his wife is in the movie, not in real life. But it also stars Maggie Q.
Maggie Q?
But that one's really good. That's where the throwaway line for Mission Impossible, I'm sure it was said in the TV shows in the 70s, 80s, whenever it aired. But he was explaining to his wife that he just rescued, and he's like, everything I'm telling you is above top secret. I work for an agency called Impossible Mission Force. I was like, is that really what IMF stands for? God, that's lazy writing from the 70s.
So here's a trivia question for you. You can't look it up because I'm already looking it up. That's why it's my trivia question. So how much do you think his films have grossed worldwide, and what do you think his ranking is as highest grossing film director of all time?
So I want to say he's in the 100 billions.
I'm gonna say it's close to. I'm gonna say 1 trillion, and then he's number 5.
I'm going with.
So you guys are way off on the amount, but go ahead.
I was going to say 100 billion, and I'm going to say he's number 3.
So no, actually, I mean the number, the amount of money, that's way off. It's really 4 billion.
That's it.
Oh, then he's grossed.
Yeah, his films, his actual films.
Yeah.
So not,
Okay,
not
okay.
combining but it's like more like what he directed or wrote, not
Gotcha.
all the production one. Like we're not counting like Lost and everything else like that. I mean,
Gotcha. Okay.
so it's 4 billion.
Fun fact: Adam Sandler just reached the $2 billion mark for all of his film works.
Good.
So he's halfway to J.J. Abrams.
But he's the 8th highest grossing film director of all time.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I thought
it's
he'd be a
still
little
not
bit
bad
higher,
then.
but
Yeah.
you know, if I could say I'm the top 10 of the highest grossing film directors.
Well, here's the thing,
Just
though.
under Jesus.
You gotta remember too, if you go to like directors, like let's say like a Spielberg or Carpenter, you know, overall their films have grossed way more.
Yeah.
You know,
who did Avatar? What's
that
his
was
name?
Carpenter.
Or not Carpenter. I'm talking
James
about
Cameron.
Cameron. Yeah.
I think he's the number 1 spot because both of his movies were the first. His first Avatar was the first one to ever go above $1 billion, I believe. And Avatar 2, The Way of Water, he's even on record saying if this doesn't become one of the top 5 grossing films of all time.
Grossest?
Yeah. I will lose money on this film. It's now sitting at pretty at number 4.
Well, we know that
the movie
Deadpool and Wolverine
sucks.
are still climbing.
I'm going to say that Avatar 2, The Way of Water, garbage. I fell asleep twice trying to watch that movie.
Sorry, James.
Yeah, it's only like 8 hours.
Yeah. Sorry, James. Patrick's opinion does not reflect all the opinions.
But it does reflect my opinion. Way of Water was garbage.
Those are my thoughts, not yours.
James Cameron comes knocking on the door. He's like,
He
I'm
just-
sorry, how many movies have you made?
Yeah.
What's your name?
I mean,
Was that,
he has 100% a fair point on
It's,
that.
it's like the end of Austin Powers 3 where Spielberg's directing the movie and he's like, that was good, Steven, but I have some thoughts. And then he just sits back. He's got like all of his Emmys and everything. He's like, yeah, I'm listening.
He's got a couple of Oscars thrown in there.
Yeah, right. He's like, good point.
They just show up with Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator here. Patrick Wald.
Come with me if you want to leave.
So for writing credits, we're still in like 2008, which was the Lost era. And Alias, he wrote from 2001 to 2006. Did not know that. Mission Impossible 3, once again. So 2006, 2007.
Can I jump in real quick?
Go for it.
So here, his early career. Abrams' first job in the movie business was at age 16 when he wrote the music for Don Dohler's 1982 horror movie Night Beast.
Yeah.
Nice. We're jumping ahead a little bit because he also acted in Alias as the man on the phone saying Joey's Pizza in one of the episodes.
Joey's Pizza.
A creature from outer space crash lands in a small town and starts killing people. This sounds like my kind of movie.
Yep.
Night Beast.
He directed an episode of The Office in 2007. That's cool. Jimmy Kimmel Live, he was a guest director once in 2006.
All right.
He directed Mission Impossible 3, directed most of it, 5 episodes of Alias, and now we're back to Lost. And he directed 2 of those episodes in 2004, which was the pilot season. And there actually may be, you know what? This gives me a reason to go back and watch Lost. It's now on Netflix. There may be a couple of lens flares in that.
So I went on a tangent here and started looking at the Don Dohler stuff, and oh my gosh, it's just all like these
Like
Night
camp.
Beast, Fiend, Alien Factor 2, Alien, what is this? Alien
Factor 3.
Rampage. It's like
It's like campy B movie. Type
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. These Crawler, Vampire Sisters.
Okay, so we're into the 90s now, and this is where his career on IMDb. Well,
Yeah.
his writing, acting, and directing career.
Like
Blew up?
exploded. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Went off the
gotcha,
map, you know.
gotcha.
Well, the first thing he wrote in the 90s, well, going backwards, like working back from
Yeah.
1998, was Armageddon. I did not know he was one of the writers of that movie. I wonder how many other writers there were. This movie doesn't seem like it would take more than one person.
All right, asteroid, gonna hit Earth. We need the guys to drill. Go.
Yeah, and
Write it.
right.
5 people wrote this movie. One guy is credited as writing the story, like the author of the book, I guess this is based on. Shane Solerano is...
Well, he had 3 other movies that he wrote then, but they just co-wrote.
Yeah, well, he did the screenplay for Armageddon.
Yeah.
2 guys, Tony and Shane, did the adaptation of the book. And then J.J. Abrams and Jonathan Hensley did the screenplay and story.
All right. So you wrote the story. You guys, I need you to adapt it from the book.
Yeah.
And I need you to write the screenplay. Go.
Here's $1 million.
Asteroid,
Take this.
gonna hit Earth.
What
We
do you
need to
do?
drill it. Go.
You know, you could just imagine, like, we can't pay you anything now, but we'll give you money off the back end of one of the most highest grossing films in 1990s.
How the hell are they going to know that, though?
Well,
You
that's the
don't.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Never know. It's
Yep.
always a gamble.
And you know what? Every now and again, like, if I was a writer or a director and, like, 1 out of every 5 movies, they were like, we can't really pay you that much, but we can give you money on the back end.
Right.
I'd roll the dice. But not every time, I would think.
I'd say about 50.
But every...
If I believed in it, about 50%.
Okay. It's not bad. I would even take a longer cut for a bigger chunk on the back
Right.
end.
Yeah. Like, I'll tell you what, I will work for free on the front end, and I get 20% revenue off of that.
Keanu Reeves only got paid a third of what he normally makes for John Wick, and he got money off the back end.
Yeah.
So he made out like he's
Yeah.
a billionaire at this
Well, he always was.
point. Ever since Bill and Ted.
The Matrix.
Yeah, I
or
was
The
gonna
Matrix.
say-
Oh, Bill and Ted, he really wasn't that big then. He was
No.
just
Really?
getting started because he did The River's Edge.
Yep.
And then he did Parenthood. They
Remember
did all
Parenthood.
smaller roles. I mean, he wasn't like a well-known. Not real. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think he started getting bigger until like Speed, Point Break, and all them.
Yeah,
That's when he
Speed, I
started.
would say, or Point Break was probably his breakout role, I would say.
No pun intended.
I see what you did
he
there.
broke out in Point Break.
We're so stupid.
In his first acting career, going backwards again,
Yeah.
in 1999, he was an actor in a movie called The Suburbans, and he played rock journalist in 1999.
But his look, he looks like he could be a
He
rock
does,
journalist.
like, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
kind of got that like.
He looks like he travels with bands and writes for Rolling Stone magazine.
Yeah.
that's his gig, his shtick.
That's his almost famous moment.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
there.
Almost famous.
He has 3 directorial credits for in the 90s.
For the same movie.
No, he directed 2 episodes of Felicity, and then he directed something in 1996. I really want to talk about this one real quick.
Do it.
Go ahead.
It's called, he also wrote this. It's called Shrek, I Feel Good. This is a test footage of the Shrek concept starring Chris Farley and Tom Keeney. I want to see this. I have to. He wrote and directed this as a proof of concept.
Yeah. This was so like he did the from what I was reading, he did like the pre-production work for Shrek itself.
Yeah, because he did
did.
the proof of concept.
Right.
And this is a very ugly Shrek compared to the one we got with Mike Myers.
You an ugly Shrek, man.
Oh, good lord.
It's like brown, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's
Almost brown.
That's definitely a Chris Farley Shrek.
Yep, and I've been trying to track it down, and I cannot. It's in DreamWorks' fault. We have to go break in.
We're coming. Just letting you know, DreamWorks.
But I really, when I saw that,
And yes, we know the password is password.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. I got the same combination on my luggage.
So going back up to writing in the 90s, we just talked about Shrek, I Feel Good. He wrote a movie called Gone Fishing.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
That's the one with Joe Pesci and Danny Glover. Mm-hmm. They were both really
Yeah,
goofy.
now
in
I
that
have to
movie.
watch it. Because I think...
Give you a quick premise. They go fishing.
Yeah. So it's not just a clever title.
No.
The next three things, it is credited under J.J. Abrams, but it does say in parentheses as Jeffrey Abrams.
Yeah, that's earlier. That's a lot of his
Yeah.
earlier stuff. He was going by that.
Where are we up to? 1996.
Apparently, it's on Amazon. You can buy it for $5.
What, Gone Fishing?
Or from $3.59. Yeah, $3.59 is rent. Buy is $5.
I wouldn't really say it's that good enough to want to rent it.
Correction. Buying in HD is $17.99.
Definitely not worth it to
Pass.
buy that.
It's because we're talking about it. That's why the price is going up. We're talking about it right now.
It's $17.99?
It is. Wait, what? What?
It's like a place that I go to raising their prices. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to be insulting, but they know who they are.
They know what they did.
Yeah.
Never forget what they took from us.
Yes.
Our money.
You may break our spirits. You may break our wallets, but you'll never break our spirit or will.
Our drinking spirit.
You rule the day, you raise the prices on beer and the Jägermeister.
I said he would rule the day to break the price on the Jägermeister.
So I've taken off director because we've already run through all of his credits, unfortunately. Yeah. But so we're down to just acting and writing. And in 1996, he had one role of each. In Diabolical, the movie, he was video photographer number 2.
Diabolical.
Video photographer, what?
Number 2, as Jeffrey Abrams. That was his actor. And his writing credit for 1990. 96 was Shrek, I Feel Good. So before Shrek, I Feel Good, he did Forever Young.
Yep.
He
Mel
wrote
Gibson.
that with Mel Gibson, which I've never seen.
Really? I
Yeah.
know, that doesn't surprise me. And it really was not like a summer blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
So basically, he was in like the Air Force or he's in some military, I believe.
I think
And
it
he
was
gets
a dump month movie too.
and he gets basically into this experiment where he gets frozen, like cryogenic.
During a cryogenics test, a pilot frozen from 1939 awakens in 1992, but time is running out. His body starts to age rapidly.
Yeah, as soon as he gets out, he's all normal at the beginning, but basically because he's been in there, they haven't perfected it. Even though you're frozen and your body holds up, then as soon as you reanimate or whatever, or unfreeze,
Yeah,
he starts
getting-
aging rapidly.
yeah,
So he
really,
basically
really
has
fast.
so much time, but it's still a good movie though.
In 93, he acted in a movie called 6 Degrees of Separation.
Oh yeah.
He was a character named Doug.
Hi, I'm Doug.
And then we're gonna find a best friend hug. And then we're gonna give him a best friend hug.
And then in 91, he wrote a movie called Regarding Henry with Harrison Ford.
It's a really good movie.
Really good movie.
Take your word on it.
Patrick hasn't seen it. Of
Well,
course.
we talked about it.
He also acted in that
Amnesia
movie.
movies.
we
when
did.
We talked
That was
about
one
it.
of our.
I already forgot about it.
Wow.
That's what you did there. Yeah.
He also acted in the movie. He's credited as a delivery boy.
He likes to deliver things.
He does.
I am the delivery boy.
Hi. Yeah.
Did you order a large pepperoni and sausage?
Extra sausage.
So after that, he only. So this was his first credited writing and acting job. He wrote and acted in a movie called Taking Care of Business.
Yeah.
With,
I think he's on a time loop here.
Yeah, with James.
We literally just went through this.
Yeah, but I'm actually doing it in order. You guys were doing it when I was talking about like 2016.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that. We'll revisit it.
Amnesia does.
Yeah.
That's what
What?
it does. Huh?
What happened?
Amnesia does.
But that was all working backwards from 2023.
Working back.
No, you did well.
That was all of his writing, acting, and directing credits.
He was also in, I believe it was around 2005, that show that I was telling you guys about, that Dinner for Five, that Jon Favreau thing, where he basically sits around with just
Oh
group
yeah.
celebrities
So he
and
was
stuff.
he was in one of those.
He was on one of them because they were asking him. They were like,
Who was he with on that one?
I think Kevin Smith was actually possibly hosting that one. I'm not
Okay.
sure. He stepped in and hosted a couple of them. But I'm not 100%. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I know he was on the one, and everyone was like messing with him at one point because they're like, he had all the different shows that he was working on. You know, by 2005, he'd done multiple shows
Right.
as well, like we talked about. And they're like, do you just keep making shows? It's like how many shows can you make? So they were just like giving him not giving him shit. They were just like more like an impressed
Where do
type
you
thing.
find
like,
the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What aspect of your life is not awesome right now?
Well, if you want, we could just go straight down the line for his producer works, because I think that is the same amount of movies and television show as the writing, directing, and acting portions.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, this will also give us a chance to talk about some really good movies and documentaries. Especially, there's one on Prime that just came out. I actually kind of want to watch.
What's it called?
Blue Angels.
Oh yes. Yep.
But he executive produced Batman: The Caped Crusader. It's an animated television show on Prime Video.
Nice.
So that is number one. It is still current and started this year. Hasn't been canceled. Sounds interesting. I like a good Batman cartoon.
Indeed.
The Cape Crusader.
The Cape Crusader.
I'm just wondering what version of Batman they're going to be doing. If they're going to be doing like more like the Dark Knight type style, Frank Miller. Or
This
if
looks
they're
more like Batman and Beyond kind of art style.
okay.
But it's still Batman, like the cowl and cape that we know him. It's not the 2077 or whatever year that Batman Beyond was in.
Yeah, because that was old Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
Imagine
that.
if it was like it's 2024 and everything's like, I had to go, damn it, what year did Batman Beyond take place in?
That's very good question.
I'm Googling it.
Google it.
Yeah, I didn't think you didn't think I was a very good Googleizer, huh?
And give it a Google.
Give it a good Google.
Googly eyes. Let's see here.
Not when it was released. Holy crap. It took place in the far distant future of 2019.
Oh man. Good Lord.
That was
How did we ever make it?
I don't know. Well, we
was-
had the Cape Crusader with us.
No, we didn't. We got COVID then.
No, we got COVID in 2020. 2019 was the last good year that we had for
It
a
was
while.
starting. It just didn't hit
It
here.
was the last good year.
Yeah.
I remember them days.
The before times.
Yeah, the land before COVID.
But there's a couple of things we could run through because he does apparently he does TV shows obviously, but he does a lot of small indie projects too apparently.
Like the boy, the mole, the fox, and it stopped there.
Yeah.
The fox and the horse. The boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse. I'm assuming it's about a boy, a mole, a fox, and a horse.
That's what I'm assuming. Oh yeah, right here. Well, I'm looking at Elizabeth Taylor, The Lost Tapes. He produced that, whatever that is.
He exec produced Westworld.
Ooh, oh, the new one. Okay. Oh yeah, he probably would have been like 7 when the first one came out, so I don't think he would have produced that one.
I like this one. In 2020, he exec produced the Challenger, The Final Flight. I've actually seen that.
I've heard of that. It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's either on Netflix or Prime, one of the two.
Obviously, he produced all the newer Star Wars movies. We
Can't talk about that.
Controversial statement. I like 2 of the 3 new ones. I don't
That's fine.
like the middle one, the one that wasn't directed by J.J. Abrams.
It's perfectly fine. It's perfect.
Basically, everything in Cloverfield.
It's a lot of uneducated people that like stuff.
He produced a lot of Mission Impossible movies, but he didn't do the latest one. The last one he did was Fallout. That was the one with Henry Cavill where he like gun cocks his arms before he starts beating the shit out of Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Which is still the greatest action movie thing I've seen in a long time. Like just like, come on, go warm up.
He did it like on an off take.
Yeah.
And Cruz liked it so much he was like, no, go back and do the thing. It's like, what? Do the thing.
Cock your arms, man.
He did one in
the only movie Henry Cavill's gotten his ass kicked in.
He
Yeah,
did
pretty
one in
much.
2014 called Infinitely Polar Bear.
All the Star Treks, or the new ones he obviously produced as well.
Can we talk about that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
10 Cloverfield Lane. That was the one with John Goodman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where they're locked in the house.
The bunker.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Bunker
That's,
under the
that's
house.
actually one of the only ones I really like.
I like the original, and there's Cloverfield on Netflix that
The
gives the
Cloverfield
origin.
Paradox.
Yeah.
That was really good.
I like that one a
Yeah.
lot. That was the one that explained the origin of the
of
monsters.
how the monsters,
Yeah.
started coming into that
How
universe.
did they come into the universe?
People
So
started
it's-
tearing space in a
Yeah.
new asshole.
Yeah, so they basically tried, traveling through time. Well,
See, I keep telling people not to do that.
So you know how, like in Event Horizon, they opened a space hole to the Hell dimension.
Yeah.
In this movie, we opened a space hole to the Monster dimension,
Yeah.
Oh.
but not the cool kaiju ones. These.
Why can't we ever rip a hole open to some cool dimension? You
Right.
know, like infinite money dimension.
Yeah.
Where just like millions
Yes.
of dollars are flying at us, and
and we just, or we have, perfect tens that have very low expectations.
Yeah.
I qualify.
that are only attracted to average guys that make less than $70,000 a year.
I will be their king.
Oh, good, I would be their king. Isn't that Canada? You shut your whore mouth.
That just feels like giving up.
He directed two of favorite shows of mine. One is called Revolution. If you haven't heard about this one was in when it's going to come out 2012 to 2014. It took place on NBC, but basically all the power in the world, all the electricity vanishes. Like it,
How does electricity just... Well, you can't see electricity.
it gets canceled before you really get into the meat of it. But there was
Probably because it didn't make
It
much
said
sense.
something. It said something racist.
it was AI effectively. But so the world without power just it doesn't like collapse, but governments collapse, people start making their own governments, guns are rare because they don't have the ability to make ammunition anymore, so they're all fighting with swords, and it's about taking down the new Monroe Republic, which is based out of Pennsylvania, and they have the Northeast. Atlanta becomes the capital of the southern states, and you never really go out west. They were starting to, and they were going to go into like the fourth season, like, yeah, we got to go out west and do some shit. Nope, cancel. Fuckers.
I will be the ruler of Florida.
Rule
Bow
of,
to me, my people.
rule of Florida is Georgia.
No, I'm separated from them.
Yeah,
Well, it was really interesting.
we're
to-
succeeding.
Yeah. Well, it was really interesting to see the kind of dynamics between the two countries. Like the Monroe Republic was using horse and carriages and swords and everything, and they had to sneak into Georgia. It's a really cool episode if you get a chance to watch it. But they've converted like school buses with steam engines, so it doesn't use electricity. Everyone's all like, "What the fuck is that?" And the main character, who is like in the initial like war, I guess, that happened when society collapses, he's like, "It is a literal different world down here.
Well, that's the thing. So we have solar power.
No electricity."
So essentially, the grid has completely been
Even no,
fried.
like the electric particles can't even form anymore. Like there's
That
nothing.
makes no sense.
They get into the show.
Everything in this world is energy. Energy can transfer. That mean there'd be nothing.
You know what?
What was this person of interest thing that's on
Yeah.
here? That's
If you can rent it on Amazon Prime.
I don't want to.
I'll
Because
rent it
doesn't make
for you.
sense. All right.
Good show.
I'll rent it for you.
Okay.
And before he did that,
Electricity's just
well,
gone.
actually, Revolution started in 2012, and he was the executive producer of all 37 episodes. And in 2013, he was the executive producer of all 13 episodes of a show called Almost Human, starring Carl Urban.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a really good show, but I can't remember what the other show was. But I think it was Firefly or something. But Fox,
No, Firefly was
no,
Josh
what I'm-
Whedon.
No,
Ah.
but Fox aired it out of order.
Oh, okay.
So like the overarching like storyline
Yeah.
kind of got jumbled in the middle because they were like the finale of the season was episode like 6, and there's 13 episodes.
Firefly or
No, for Almost Human.
for Almost Human?
Yeah.
You know what other show they used to air out of order, and still it's hard to follow when you play it back or like on streaming is Sliders.
Oh, really? I didn't know they showed that one out of
Yeah,
order.
you watch that one, and then it'll be like it'll end at something like they come to their conclusion, they jump through, and the ending of the show is like what would be the beginning of the next one, or they're like a new thing. the first couple go, and then it's like all of a sudden it just cuts to something completely different happening. And then I was going back, and they're like, yeah, they didn't air them in the order, so the streaming service
Fixed it.
got it. No, they just get them from how they aired them. And I'm like, you would have fixed the problem. Makes no sense to me. By the way, going back to the whole me ruling Florida thing real quick, I think what I'll do though, since we're not going to have power and it's going to be a very like barbaric type thing, my people, my
Floridians,
my army will have gator heads. So
Duh.
real gators, but they're going to be like the mouths will be stretched open, and you wear it over, and your face is inside the mouth of the gator. Like that's going to be our headdress uniform.
I like it.
I think I unlocked that in a video game one time.
It's kind of like the the.
We'd like to congratulate the Florida Gators.
It's kind of like the Guauld and
Yeah.
Yep. Ours won't be as heavy.
Yeah, you got a full. I don't know. You got a full head with teeth. That's got to be heavy.
So, and then we'll have guys that have like python sashes. I will not wear that because I don't like snakes. But the gator heads, it'll be like how you figure out who is who in my army.
You'll have the panther here.
Yeah,
like,
yes. We'll have
like
James
Khalid
Earl Johnson.
Jafar,
Rula of Zamunda.
ruler of Florida, with the Black Panther.
Yeah, it'll be like it depends on like what like that's your rankings. Like that's how it is. You either have the python boa, the gator head, a shark fin. Like you wear some guys wear shark fins, so it's like either
That's the
lieutenants
workers.
or.
Have you ever read the book The Lord of the Flies?
Yes,
Because if you haven't, I'm going to recommend you go read.
I've read it. I've seen the movie. I've seen it all.
He lived it.
He was the pig's head on the spit.
This always takes me back to that How I Met Your Mother episode. The only people who haven't seen Star Wars were the people in Star Wars, and they lived it, Ted. They lived it.
That brings up a really quick side question. If you were an actor, say not like superstar like Tom Cruise, but more than indie, like you were in some major motion films and all that, but you weren't. But would you watch your work?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, I would.
I watched this show.
I would because
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks for the views.
I was going to say, how the hell you think else we get some pumping numbers, you know?
I was gonna say that. I know. Now I know what's going on there.
Once a week.
Yeah, once a week that
You
YouTube
get
counter
15
goes up to
plays.
1.
Yeah.
He's got a special room with like 87 supercomputers that are all running multiple plays.
On all different VPNs.
Yeah.
I don't think I could. I don't like the sound of my voice. I'll trust the director and the editor to make me look good. I don't think I could watch my own work.
Well,
if
if
I
it-
was a director, yes. Like I was behind the camera, not in front of the camera, I could probably watch.
If it makes you feel any better about what you just said, most of us don't like the sound of your voice either.
Yeah, I know.
I'm joking.
He says I'm joking, but really he's not.
Yeah, he says he's joking, but he's like,
Mic down.
Obviously, he directed all 100, executive produced all 100 episodes of Fringe. Once again, love that show. If you haven't watched it.
And Alias, I think you talked about that, right?
Yeah. I think he was creator.
I don't ever remember watching that. It says here he's executive producer.
Okay.
EP credit.
He produced Super 8 in 2011.
Yeah, that was a really cool monster movie that wasn't really monster. Like you never see the monster until the very end.
Yeah,
almost.
that's the one with
It's
the
kinda
train
almost
crash
like
in the beginning of the movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It almost had a not like the cinematography part, but the story part had like a M. Night Shyamalan feel for a little
I remember
bit.
seeing it once.
And the real cool one was part was when they're doing the train scene. When they're filming that for the movie.
Yeah.
That's how the town goes to shit is the train crash.
I know both movies are wildly different from each other, but I always got the names confused. Everyone's like, "Have you ever seen this movie?" And it was like,
Don't say 8mm.
"All right, let's keep going."
Wow. Wow.
I
That's what you got confused with? Holy shit.
I know they are wildly different movies, but the names always.
This isn't about kids with a
Oh
handicap.
my god. Oh my god.
Well, at least I didn't-
It's about kids though.
It's a stuff movie. Yeah.
At least I didn't say Snuff, starring Nicolas Cage. Man's and everything.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Him and old Joaquin Phoenix.
Wow.
Moving on. He was an executive producer of 117 episodes of Lost. I think that's the entire series.
Yep.
100%.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up this. He's done a lot of stuff with games. He's executive produced a lot of video games.
I haven't seen any, at least ones
Star
that I
Trek
recognize.
DAC. There's multiple ones that I've seen so far. I'd have to go back but there's been multiple gaming ones that he's done, which you as a gamer.
I would love to. I am not. If they're on this list, I don't recognize them.
Well, if you haven't played a Star Trek game though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
The Catch.
Infinity Polar Bear. What is that?
Hey, produced Joyride.
Yo. Produced, directed, wrote,
Candy
and acted in.
cane.
Yeah, and
Oh, candy cane.
Mark Ruffalo and Zoe Saldana. What is this movie? A father struggling with bipolar disorder tries to get back with his wife by attempting to take full responsibility of their two young, spirited daughters who don't make the overwhelming task any easier. Sounds like a nice little family movie.
Star Trek Save Vulcan. That's a video game he did.
Yeah, I've never
Lost via Domus. That's a video game.
I saw that on here. I didn't know
He's
that
a
was
creator of it.
Via dumbass.
Dumas.
I have
Dumas.
Lost the Missing Pieces that went for a year for 13 episodes. He executive produced that.
This is wrote by Alexander Dumbass. It's Dumas.
Dumas.
Oh, I love that commercial. So what do you think, Mr. Dumbass? Do I have the job, Mr. Dumbass? He's like, it's Dumas. I'm like, oh.
But I will say this. I know, just calm yourself for a second.
Yeah,
I got some blood pressure medication
Okay.
you can take if you need to. But you got to admit, though, it is pretty impressive to be part of those two huge franchises, both Star Trek
Absolutely.
and Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was Simon Pegg, when he was directing the first Star Wars, went up to him and was like, hey, is there any way you can get me into this movie? He's like, you're kind of attached to Star Trek. I cannot be putting those two fan bases together. And he's like, I'll do anything. Seriously. So Simon Pegg was like on his knees in one of like little alien costumes when Rey was like turning in her, you don't give a shit.
Hi.
I'm Tom.
He did a series. He was a composer of the main theme of the TV series Alcatraz.
Oh.
I'm not really familiar with it, but
Neither am I. It's not on my list. Let me turn on.
I remember the
composing.
movie with Clint Eastwood. But
Oh, he
I
only
never-
has 3
I
composing
never saw
credits.
the TV series.
come on now, man.
3 is. So composer on my list, he's only credited as Future Shock, Mr. Petrified Forest, and Night Beast.
So we got a little bit of time left, but so on
Oh,
IMDb.
can we run through the last 5 producing credits real
Yeah,
quick?
go ahead.
The Pallbearer with David Schwimmer.
Yep.
He Forever Young and Regarding Henry we talked about.
Yep.
He was EP on both of those. And then he did an EP as a documentary called Yankees Win, 8-part documentary chronicling every chapter of Yankees history, success, controversies, rivalries, stars, feuds, and legacies.
Interesting.
There's
My stepdad's probably watched that 20 times.
yeah, but there's you can't find it. Like, places to watch, that field is gone on this IMDb page.
We don't even have where it's been.
It doesn't even say what year it came out.
Huh.
It was directed by Jonathan Hawk, and that's it. Cast and directed by Jonathan Hawk and produced by
Sam Tua.
J.J. Abrams, Libby Geist, Connor Shell, Ricky Stem. There's a lot of fucking people who produced this.
So I just wanted to hit on a couple of fun trivia things in here, and IMDb throws out certain fun facts.
Oh, yeah.
So this is coming from him. He says he got the job directing Mission Impossible in 2000 or Mission Impossible 3 in 2006 after Tom Cruise watched early episodes of Alias on DVD and loved them. The two started hanging out together, and Cruise offered him the job.
Oh, I didn't think it. Okay. I guess Tom Cruise can offer. the
He's
job.
fucking Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Basically runs it. His debut film,
He
Mission
also
Impossible
nominated
3,
him for the mayor of Clearwater. So.
Yeah, right. His debut film, Mission Impossible 3, was the most expensive film ever made by a first-time director until Tron Legacy, directed by Joseph Kosinski. which cost nearly $20 million more than MI3.
And as we just talked, he had a lot of directing credits before Mission Impossible, but I think this may have been his first major motion.
So yeah,
I said this one already is the first director to have directed both a Star Trek and Star Wars film.
Yep.
He's a huge fan of
Twilight Zone and Walking Distance.
Yep.
I'm on the same trivia page.
Frequently uses the name Kelvin in his movies, which was the name of his grandfather. Examples: the character Kelvin Inman from Lost, the postcard addressed to H. Kelvin from Mission Impossible.
Sold his screenplay for free ever young. Kevin, guess how much? And that was
I can't guess because I'm looking at it.
Yeah. It was in the 90s. He wrote the screenplay and he sold it. Then he produced and directed it.
$50,000.
Way more than that.
Which is weird because that's usually pretty unheard of unless you're a major writer.
Yeah. He sold it for $2 million.
That's crazy.
I would have retired right then and there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Uncle Sam took 30%.
Yeah, probably. Well, back then it wasn't that bad, was it?
It was 35.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I would have kept acting and working.
Yeah.
Hey, he's an avid fan of Downton Abbey.
I'm looking at that one
and
right
has
now.
visited the set in the studios. Is the only person other than George Lucas to have directed multiple Star Wars films.
A lot of these are too long to read out.
Yeah, I was just gonna see.
I think Favreau is behind him because he did Mando but those weren't movies.
He has cited Steven Spielberg as his hero, which
Makes sense.
Yeah, because he would have watched E.T. in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And he probably watched it so much that tape just unspooled at one point.
Yeah, exactly. we gotta rewind it back in here.
He was ranked number 29 on Entertainment Weekly magazine's The 50 Smartest People in Hollywood.
Ooh.
Wow.
He currently resides at the Pacific Palisades in California.
California Palisades.
Has provided an uncredited screenplay polish for Iron Man. What? He didn't want credits, but he polished up the original Iron Man in 2008 for the screenplay.
This one's interesting. He wrote a Superman screenplay for Warner Brothers called Superman Flyby, which would have had Lex Luthor revealed to be a Kryptonian sleeper agent with powers equal to Superman, and Krypton would still exist.
That sounds dope. Yeah, but here's the second part of that story. Warner Brothers rejected the screenplay, and Superman Returns in 2006 was made instead, with Brandon Routh. Which, don't get me wrong, I actually like that movie. I think it's great, mainly because I like Brandon Routh.
Do you really?
I really do.
I like him better than Zack and Miri Make a Porno. With him and Justin Long. I love how he's describing his movies to Seth Rogen, and he's like, so it's like, what kind of movies do you do? He's like, I don't know, like Timmy, pulls down his pants and blah 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 blah. It's like, oh, so you're in like porn? He's like, yes, male erotica as we call it. He's like, yeah. Would you be in any films? Like, I don't think so. It's like, well, why is that? Do you like vagina? It's like, yes. So not you.
I've got to rewatch that movie. I forgot how funny it is.
That's the when they go to the.
And that was Justin Long doing that voice?
Yeah, that was Justin Long. He's like so deep.
He did the same voice in Jade Silent Bob reboot.
Yeah.
When he was the lawyer at the beginning.
Yep.
He's like,
Yep.
Saban Studios.
Yep.
This is Dick Wolfer 69. That's my grinder account. I love Dick Wolf. We've seen every episode of Law and Order. Sabaros, those pizza making. Saban Films.
Saban.
People via J.
Saban, isn't that the company that made Power Rangers in Japan?
I think they are.
Yeah.
Because they did mention the
That's
Power
right.
Rangers at there. This what's his name? The comedian, the black guy that was the judge. He's like in everything. He was in Hot Tub Time Machine. He was the friend of theirs that went like.
I know who you're talking about.
I can picture him, but I
feel
don't
so
know
horrible
what
that
they-
I can't think of his name. He was in The Office.
Yep. Yeah, he was.
He was one of the warehouse guys.
He was after the first season. He was the only warehouse guy you saw from
Yeah.
then.
He's like, if I may say so, he's like, is it going to be where like 5 Zoids turn into a super Megazoid or something?
Craig Robinson.
Craig Robinson. Go, go, Power Rangers.
Take your panties off.
He was also This Is the End. I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Craig Robinson.
Top flight security of the world, Craig.
You don't like Forrest Gump? No, I think it's a horrible piece of shit. It's like, what? Life is like a box of... No, I know the movie.
I know the movie.
He is one of the greatest characters in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's Doug
Yeah.
Judy. He's the car thief that helps him out in a few seasons. And there's one where he's like on a cruise ship. He's like a lounge piano singer and player.
Well, that was his gig when he was doing comedy. He was a piano player, and
really?
he would like do comedy as that when he
Oh,
was
that's
coming
cool.
up. Yeah,
He was a musical comedian.
exactly.
He was like those dueling pianos at Channel Side.
That was his song. Was "Take Your Panties Off."
Oh, really?
And
this is it,
he
yeah.
would play it. And, Take your panties off.
Oh, he's a big... All right, now I'm getting on the Craig Robinson
All right.
rabbit hole.
Well, it's a good thing we're out of time now.
Yeah.
So we can wrap it up. We can talk about that next time. But thanks again, guys, for joining us, talking J.J. Abrams.
Just deconstructing his entire career.
Yes. And
to
we
be
like
fair,
most of it.
I have nothing against most of his work.
Yes. Gavin's going to stay quiet for a moment.
That's a moment of silence.
He has issues with 3
Star
of his
Trek.
works.
Star Trek. Lens flare.
Lens flare.
But as always, thank you guys for joining us. Again, to those people, keep an eye out for like any updates from FEMA and stuff for the
Yep.
people that were devastated by Hurricane Helene. But we'll be back as usual every week. So until then, for Movie Talks and Chill, we are your hosts. I'm Tony Serrato.
I'm Gavin Butts.
I'm Patrick Wall.
All right, guys, take care.